Alright, we are back for week 2, Explore Pauper Ladder. First week I played Monogreen Big Boys. We're back at it again. We didn't really get too much of a match in that first week. It was just me running hot and my opponent getting kind of stuck. So not sure what we're going to be up against. Not sure if I have a decent enough sideboard or not. Since this is game 1, I'm not going to do the greed keep of last week because this is, a trap if I don't pull a second land. So we're going to mulligan this one, see if we get something better. That is serviceable, and we can immediately ditch the Witch Stalker because we want to look at turn 3 Lifecraft Cavalry. Always hard for me to say. And if they put something out, we want to be able to ram through. So let's start with this, and let's see if we can pull this off here. Okay, so we are dealing with Rakdos of some kind, I'm thinking. We are hoping to see another land. If we don't see another land, we just go Witch Stalker, jam it, and hope for the best. If they hit me now with removal, we could be in big trouble. So that's the kind of deck that poses the biggest problem. Anything that can do early removal is tough. So they could come out, kill me off, and move on about their business. We'll see what they do. Okay. So we don't have what we want. That's tough. So I think what we need to do here is we just need to eat it. We'll Witch Stalker it. We're going to be a little bit slower now because we can't get that Lifecraft Cavalry, so that was a bummer. We didn't get that land. As you can see, that was a problem there. But if we can get a couple more lands back, we've got a decent body to attack with. We don't need to block it. They're going to sack it anyway with oh, my daughter doesn't have rehearsal today, as we can see, so that means I need to pick her up. Let's see if maybe they have Candy Grapple. No, they couldn't Candy Grapple because they don't have a token or artifact out. Final Flourish could get me a 3 damage spell and then sacking it. Okay, Foot Lifing. Okay, so this is die to any target, kill stuff deck. Okay, that's fair. My turn. Cool. Okay, so we're going to sacrifice that to deal 1 damage to me. Interesting. Okay. Cool. We need to Forest Cycle and get a land. It's fine. Okay, so we're playing against 8Wrath. So yeah, we need to be, which was really weird that they're doing that. Sure. It'll be interesting to see what 8Wrath looks like in Standard, or Explorer rather, since they don't have the trolls, but they do have some other things. So we're still looking for another land. No blocks, we just have to take it. Mm-hmm. Arsonist. Mm-hmm. All right. Now we just kind of have to hope that we're drawing lanes. Might as well give rid of things for them to fodder. And now we just kind of have to draw lands. Cool. So this is the kind of deck that I was worried about facing, is anything that has lots of early ways to deal with my mana producers. But if we can get out some big dudes here, I think we'll be okay. Okay, so open a blood fountain, I can retrieve their stuff. What we really need to do is make sure that we see some snakeskin. So in game 2, we're definitely going to go with like snakeskin veils and things like that to make sure that we protect our dudes. Because once a big guy stays in play, it really forces them to have a lot of the "you are already dead" effects, and so they need to have more than one, more than two. This first game is getting kind of, excuse me, dreary. So we're drawing all our big boys, no land. So this is a little bit of RNG. I mean, I think if we come out kind of early on these and we hit what we need to hit, we're okay. But we didn't, so that's a problem. Yep. Cool. There's a Witch Stalker, which isn't really going to matter at this point. So sacrifice. I'm sure they have another "you are already dead" or "deadly dispute." Cool. Yep. Yeah. So this is a clunky opening versus a deck that's going to be very difficult for me, right? So we scoop it up. Let's turn this off so we can always see everything. Game. Okay, so they don't have to go through the motions. Alright, so what do we do in game 2? In game 2, we let's put it back to this way. In game 2, we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to add all these. We're going to add our ice hides. And we're going to take out the Witch Stalkers. Wait, did we? Yeah, we did do snow covered lands. Phew. For a moment there, I thought I didn't do it. And then, oh no, thwart the enemy stays out. We don't need that. Jewel Thief, Life Cav, everything else stays, right? Ram throughs. We don't need ram throughs. We don't want to give it an option to we don't want to give them an option to like sacrifice in response, like with the Daily Dispute or anything like that. So really killing their creatures is kind of irrelevant. We just want to power through them, keep our stuff alive, and bring in Ice Hide here. So this hopefully helps the situation, but we'll see how this all works out for us. So again, we're going to play first. We're going to hope for a little bit better opening than that. We got a mulligan. This we can keep. We'll keep this. We're going to pitch the cavalry in this case. All right. Okay. Okay. So we are going to do this one. Next. All right. So I think what we do here is we do that. A little low on mana here, and what I don't like is it's taking too long, so it's going to get them to be able to set up for things. Alright, so we are going to next one. That. Do 1, 2, 3. Put another ice in. They can do whatever. They're free to attack. Dispute. I think they're going to kill off. Okay. Cool. Alright. So I think what we do here is let's go at him now. Interesting. Okay. I have to keep one back now. But really, jeez, this is just so tough right now. Just getting really clogged on mana. Yeah, this is just how it goes, I suppose. So, do we make one of these evasive? for their big board wipe now. Okay, clearing that one. They're clearing that one. I'm assuming they don't have a second Mirrodon Avenged. Or you are already dead, because I'm pretty sure it was dead. Okay. This is going to be a long grind, and I'm probably just going to get ground out, but we'll see. We'll see how we do this. Okay. 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 We're just going to start swarming. Thank goodness. I think we have to forest cycle to get a forest. Cool. Pass. No attacks. Enter. Yeah, this deck doesn't obviously operate if we are not getting lands, does it? So, what are we going to do? Yeah. It's a bad matchup. No lands, and no real good sideboard plan other than Ice Hide Troll. So we'll put that out. It's not going to help me though. Yeah, still not going to make it. So we can protect. No. Undo. We can protect one of them. Into each creature you control, or opponent controls. So, how about good game? So much like last week, we never really had anything going. So that's what happens when you stumble on lands. Really shouldn't with this deck, but so it goes. So yeah, tough deck to face. When you're facing that kind of a deck, this one is obviously kind of difficult to deal with. And it makes me think that Monogreen, obviously with what's going to be in the format, you need to have some way to combat decks like that, right? Because you will see it come up. It is probably my worst matchup, and we hadn't really devised a good, robust plan for it. I think Ice Hide Troll is a good start, right? Ice Hide Troll definitely was causing some issues there. The problem with green in Explorer is you have no way to refill the hand, so you're really kind of at the whim of top deck mode. And if you don't top deck gas and lands and you get stalled out early, you're pretty much dead in the water. And that's what we were kind of seeing. So in 2 games, I saw 5-6 lands in 2 games. That's a little rough. So maybe we increase the land count to try and ensure that that doesn't happen. The argument could be made is you back off on the big guys and you go back to the value ramp play, right? You go back to Owlbear and Visionary and Packmate, but it's tough for me to do that. It might be the right call in the meta, and that big boys and protecting them is just not the way to go in this particular meta. but I just don't like the deck. I played it for too long. It was, kind of the only good green deck in Historic for such a long time, and that's all you could really play with green, so I'm just kind of tired of it. Doesn't mean it's a bad deck or a bad strategy in this particular meta. It's just not really my cup of tea. So the other options are find ways to make the deck a little bit more viable, and I think that's where you're probably stretching the limit of what Monogreen can do in if I'm going to keep this type of approach, and I need to go more towards like a small splash of something to protect my little dudes, right? So when those things happen and they send those big guys across, you're making them a little bit more robust, giving them some more backside. So we can work on that in a couple of different ideas that I've been kind of thinking about when anticipating what I would see. I hadn't come across 8Wrath because we only had 1 week to play. So second week we came across 8Wrath, which again, it's a tough deck. Like I've played against it in the Historic version. And if you aren't running protection spells, you just get obliterated. I ran a whole bunch of protection spells, but we really just didn't see the efficiency, right? We got hit with a little RNG. Like last week, we had what should be our typical openers of, Elf, another ramp spell on the second turn, and turn 3 we put out a 6/6. And if you put out a turn 3 on 6/6 and you're able to get it past that first you are already dead, you're pretty much off to the races, because you're putting the pressure on them to continually have you are already dead in their hand to kill off your guy. And if you're matching you are already dead with the same number of protection spells, they can't really kill you. But we just never really got that board state at any point in the game. No big guys landed. They played well. Not much you can really do when they're running like really efficient creatures that are, gonna get that damage on you and trigger you already dead and then draw a bunch of more cards. So yeah, good solid deck, tough to beat it. It's a bad matchup for us. So we ran into, two of our worst matchups. Mardu Value is actually a bad matchup. If the Mardu Value deck that we faced the first week was really devoted to early removal, that could be a problem for us, because if they remove early elves and we hit any stumbling like we did in mana, we're facing a really tough game. We didn't really have that first week. We had a good flow of mana. Like lands were coming at a more reasonable clip. This one was just really tough, like really stalled out, really slow. That was kind of a tough week. So bad matchup, bad draws equals bad result. So there it goes. Hope you still liked it, even though it was pretty uneventful. We haven't really had much excitement these first 2 weeks, so hopefully we'll get something a little bit more exciting for week 2. We'll figure out what splashes I can do to keep this kind of idea rolling, and or see if I have to switch gears completely for week 3. But I still want to try pushing this a little bit further, because I like the big dudes, and we'll see if we can't get something on the board a little bit more reliable next week. So hope you liked it, and I'll catch you again.